So I'm reconnecting with my brother from another mother, Ayron Jones, who I always say this to you, I can't believe we've never freaking met
Oh, I know.
because we have been behind the screen like 6 times in the
A
last
bunch.
year.
That's right.
And we actually have a date. We have a date coming up, my friend. Now, granted, there will be 10,000 other people at this date, but I'm
Oh,
so
but it's a date
excited.
nevertheless, right? It's a date
Yes, it's
nevertheless.
still a date. September 10th at the Prudential Center. You are part of our WDHA Family Reunion Show. This is what I love, okay? Because you're going on first. We're going to have a packed house for our first artist because everybody is looking to see you. So congratulations. And wait, I made you a sign. It's a crappy sign, but you ready? Number one, baby. Number one. Number one with Mercy on the rock charts.
Yeah,
Congratulations. A
thank you.
fantastic feat.
Yeah,
How does it feel?
it feels good. I'm still soaking it in, man. I don't even know really how to. It's all just happened so fast, right? Like I dropped my first single this time last year, and just to see all of this stuff happening just at one time, it's been a blur. I've been on planes and stuff in the last week or so doing some shows, and kind of people coming up and saying what's up every now and again, and like kind of getting to know, just this feeling, you know what I mean? Just kind of getting this new territory of my life. I think I'm kind of just still digesting it right now, but it's a really great feeling, man. I think I cried all week last week. We found out, that we hit number one on Billboard, and this week they announced that on Media Base we're number one. So it's just been a trippy feeling, and cats that know, So
Yeah.
when you can find those people, they're really excited to see you and meet you. So it's really interesting.
And a different feeling too, because like you said, the single came out like last year at this time, and you
Yeah.
had really no barometer except being behind a screen with people. You were very open to doing a lot of stuff with us, and our listeners were like, he's amazing, he's amazing. But we did it with small groups of people. So it wasn't like, the single's coming out and you're going out on a press tour, and this is really uncharted territory.
Yeah.
And so the feeling, just has to be incredible. Now, of course, the record dropped a couple weeks ago, Child of the State. Oh my gosh. I expected a lot. It far exceeded my expectations. And I want
Oh,
to talk about the
yeah.
diversity of this record.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about sequencing this record too, because
Yeah.
I want people to know there's something on it for everyone. I
Right.
thought that opening with Boys from the Puget Sound was a brilliant move because bam, it's in your face and it takes you on that ride. So
Mhm.
talk to me about looking at these songs and saying, this is how we're going to sequence Child of the State.
Yeah, I'll say this, like I knew, for me at least, I knew that Boris from the Puget Sound had to be the first track on the record. Just for the simple fact that like that was the way that I've always done it, man. I mean, when that song was written, at the time, it was a few years ago now. I mean, we hit the stage and that's how we said hello, what I already called the FN police, that's how we started it, man. So it's like, for me, it made so much sense since it's been a journey that Seattle has carried me to this point, and the fans of Seattle have really pushed my name out there to a breaking point, to get out to the national name. I felt like it was so important to make sure that I had that in there to let people know, kind of just in a secret way. If you know, right? The Puget Sound is not like a really well-known area of the Pacific Northwest, but if you knew, you knew. And so it was really important for me to really put that on the record and to let people know exactly where I come from, and that I hold an extreme amount of pride for where I come from, and that this music is rooted in that place. And then the rest of the album is like, for me in terms of like following. I mean, we had to put the bangers up top, right? Like, Take Me Away and Mercy, and then, but my thing was really, I was really nervous about getting the slower songs out. You know what I mean? Like the My Love Remains, the Take Your Times. Those are the songs that I was kind of nervous about because I knew, if you're a super heavy hard rock kind of a metal person, My Love Remains and Take Me Away may not, or Take Your Time may not be the songs for you. So I was nervous about that in spinning circles. So, but the sequence for me it was really about showing about this eclectic ride. You know what I'm saying? These ups and downs, and like give me a full spectrum of music. And I always had the intention of putting out an album that has a song for everyone. You may not like every single song on the record. Some people may like every single song on the record, but I knew that someone from every single genre could grab a song and say that's my song.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's funny because a friend of mine, I turned him onto the record and then we were texting back and forth and we just kept picking favorite songs like My Love Remains, which you mentioned. To me, as soon as I heard it, I'm a big Prince girl, and we're
Mhm.
chatting on his birthday. Um, So that was sort of my, like, I'm like, oh, it's definitely, I feel that Purple Rain inspiration, like I know I did you wrong. And, so I felt that Purple Rain inspiration. And then of course the Buzz song, a lot of people were buzzing
Yeah.
about Supercharged. People were
Oh
just
yeah. Oh,
listening. Everybody's like, put on Supercharged and just let it rip. So,
yeah.
the Buzz songs changed. And then of course, Free
Hmm.
is a song that is a lighter song,
80s pop. Yeah.
80s pop, little
Yeah.
more ethereal, kind of takes you to a different place. Baptized in Muddy Waters has taken it to church.
Yep. That's
Um,
back. That's rooted directly in blues.
Wait, you got the party tune on there. You got Hot
Yeah.
Friend.
Uh-huh. Hmm.
That's the party tune. So
That's right.
I want people to know that this is a record that is just so diverse. And I think that that is a complete and total testament to you as a songwriter.
Yeah, I wanted, I was really wanted to get people to see and get to know me as the full spectrum of the artist I've always been. I think, for years as an independent artist, I was leading this band idea with Ayron Jones in the way, which is great, but I think it kind of overshadowed the other talents that I was bringing to the table, such as songwriting, such as producing, and all the work that I was putting into all these records, and on top of flying my bands all over the place and touring with my band and funding my own projects, I was the writer and the producer for all of this stuff. So. I thought it was so important for people to really get to see the full spectrum, and I think after this record, I'm going to definitely have a little more focused records after this. But for my introduction, I wanted people to know, like I know you, I get you, I know where you're coming from, and where all of you are coming from. I love all the music that you love, and I wanted to make a record that paid respect and homage to all that music.
It's a top to bottom record. It's
Yeah,
a record that you put on, you keep it on, you're not scanning through, for the quote unquote good songs. They're all incredible. And every week I pick a different song, like that is my favorite song from the record. So
yeah.
it's just amazing. It is phenomenal, phenomenal summertime listening. So I have a couple of little funny quotes because I asked listeners, I said, I'm going to be chatting with Ayron. So give me a few phrases and I'm just going to take two. Um, if you're an Ayron Jones fan, that you could use to describe Ayron. So I had Karen in Scotch Plains, New Jersey. I love this. She says, his soul in every note from his fingers to his throat. And I was like, oh, I like that a
I
lot.
love it. I love that. I like that a lot, man. That's got some baptized in muddy waters vibes.
I
Like
love that,
great.
right?
I
And
love
then
it.
Don on Staten Island says he's called the show to request things, and then he was always calling, going, I want to hear more. I want to hear more. I want to hear more. So he calls you Captain Shreds when he calls the show. And he says,
That's cool.
Captain Shreds, we need the shreds. God bless Captain Shreds, Don on Staten Island. And I just thought that kind of said it all. So talk
Yeah.
to me about being the guitar player. You recently did, about a week ago, you were at the Love Rocks New York City benefit show.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
thing that was so incredible about that for me was all the shredders on that show. You and Bonamassa and Gary Clark Jr., Billy Gibbons,
Billy Gibbons was
Billy
there too. Yeah.
freaking Gibbons.
Yeah.
So talk to me about guitar. Talk to me about being that guy who is keeping the guitar. We have guys in bands and stuff, but it's very different for you. You're having a love affair with the guitar.
That's right. Yeah. It's something that I think the foundation of rock is built off of, is built off that distorted guitar, that tone, that angst, that guy up there standing and delivering, or that girl up there standing and delivering that feeling. Just you, your guitar, your voice, and the cats behind you, just like trying to deliver those feels, man. I don't know, and I didn't, when I was growing up, I didn't think to myself, I'm going to be the guitar guy. I'm going to be the dude that does this, but my love affair, my obsession with the guitar, it just can't be denied, and it's always been out in front. I think it's always captured people's attention, and so now to be considered in the conversation with some of the greatest guitar players of all time, to be on the stage with those cats and to be talked about as one of the greatest, it's amazing, and especially because it's just beginning. Like I have no idea what the future is to hold. I have no idea what that means for me. Even a gig like that is like you're still digesting that. Like, what does that mean? Who does that make me after this gig? So. I don't know. It's this. I'm happy to be in that conversation. I'm happy to be one of the torchbearers for rock and roll and guitar rock. That is the big difference between me, I think, and a lot of other bands, is that a lot of other bands typically have other cats that, this guy sings, that guy plays guitar, that guy plays rhythm. There's the bass player, there might be the keyboard guy, there's the drummer. But I'm like I'm like half the band, you know.
Yeah,
You know, I'm
you're
two
half the
keys
band.
and
Well,
bass
talk to
player.
me about some of those other cats, because when you're out
Yeah.
touring and when we get to see you at Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey, who's going to be with you? What can listeners expect when they get there to check out the Ayron set?
It's going to be a three-piece rock band. You're going to see a three-piece rock band. I mean, that's the thing about the record. The record was always just a way to get you in the seats, man. And like now that we get you in the seats, you really get to see what it is, why people have put me in this position, why I've gotten to this place. I got to this place off my live show. I got to this place because we put together a live show that was undeniably mind blowing. You know what I'm saying? I don't mean to say that to boast. I try to be as humble as possible when I speak about things, but I know for a fact that the many years that I've been doing this, every step of the way, every time we leveled up, every time anything like that happens, because somebody came and saw a live show and they're like, oh, now we get it, you know. So the record has always been a work in progress for me. It took me a longer time to figure out how to put records together, but my live show was always bar none like the best aspect, the best thing that I had going for me. And so I just really can't wait to share that with people. And I think that's just going to be the cherry on top. I think people are really going to be like, oh, okay, we get it now. It's like, yeah, the record's good because I've learned how to be a recording artist, sure, but I'm a guitar player, I'm a rocker, and you know, I take after those three-piece rock bands that come from my town. You know, the Nirvanas, the Jimi Henderson Experience. You know, those cats were inspirational to me, and that's why, you know, I kept it with the three-piece. And we may expand on that in the future, who knows? But right now, I told my label just for the first few go rounds, man, let's just give them that raw rock, man. Let's be three-piece and just bring it back to that classic sound, that classic feel, you know.
I'm so happy you said that because that's exactly the answer I wanted. I'm just like picturing you on stage at Prudential Center, as we call it here in Jersey. We call it the Rock.
Yeah,
Picturing you on stage, you know, at the Rock with a three-piece band, you know, and you're just out. Captain Shreds is out
yeah.
doing his shred and doing his thing. Well, you said you've been on planes and you've been doing some shows and stuff. So what did that feel like before, you know, being in lockdown for as long and then going back to do the first show and playing the first group of Child of the State songs
Yeah.
live for people? How did it feel? Were you sort of nervous? Were you like, you know, just kind of a horse waiting to get out of the gate?
Well,
What was that like?
it was interesting. So I had a solo gig down in Panama City Beach, Florida. Right after that gig in New York. And so the first of all, the first gig in New York, you know, I'm up there. I'm one of the new kids in the block, right? It's me. I think me and Tash Neal were the newest blood on the show. And so I'm up there and just like we're both me and Tash, and we're sharing a room with Joe Bonamassa, and who is by far, by the way, I don't know if people know this about Joe Bonamassa. Joe Bonamassa is one of the funniest people you're ever going to meet in your life. If you get a chance to ever sit with him and talk, he's so funny, man. But so my first gig out of the pandemic is this huge gig with these cats. You know, I grew up listening to ZZ Top. Warren Haynes is there. Ivan Neville is there. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
the backing band is cats that played late night or playing late night shows, SNL and what have you, Kimmel and whatnot. And so I'm already geeking out over that. I met Grace Potter, who was like, oh, I've been a fan of yours for years. I was like, Grace Potter knows my name. You know, so I'm geeking out over that. So it was just an incredible feeling. You know, and it's a little bit what you said. It's like you go into the pandemic, a kid from the Pacific Northwest, and these cats know me around here, so it's a little different. But you know, this brand new world that's opened up after a year later, after you drop your first single, you drop your record, you go number one, and all of a sudden you're this whole new world for you, and the world is completely different. You know, and then when I got to Florida, I mean, so in New York, I got to play one of my songs, which is great. I got to play the finale with everyone, which is also great. But it wasn't until I got down to Florida when I played a solo set with cats and played some of those songs and got to hear people sing my words back to me for the first time. Like that was a really amazing feeling. I'll never forget that. Just being able to like play for these and people getting hyped, man. Just like I remember playing "Take Me Away" on the acoustic and people were losing their minds. They were freaking out, man. So it was a wonderful feeling to be able to be out there with those cats and just to know that people were listening to my music. And I'm looking forward to those first really big shows, man, when we get out there in front of 20,000 people or so, at some of these festivals and things. And that's what I'm really looking forward to is just seeing how people react to the live show, to the big sound,
Because you're a connection artist. You're an
Mhm.
artist that's music connects with people, really connects with people. People feel it, and they want to see you live performing it. So I can
Yeah.
imagine, this whole year has been a very kind of not knowing what's going on kind of year, different for somebody launching a debut record. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I would imagine that those first shows were probably kind of emotional too.
They were pretty emotional, and I was
Yeah.
emotional all last week. I mean, finding out I go number one, and like I think I was crying straight for like 2 days.
Yeah, let
Never-
me hold my sign up again. My
Oh.
cheesy number one sign. Yay,
2 days,
number freaking one.
it was like Memorial Day when I found out, and it was, which is also my 2 year old's birthday. And it was his birthday, and so Dad's finding out he's number one. The whole house is emotional over that. Kids turning two, we're emotional over that. It's Memorial
Oh,
Day,
it's
so we
great.
family military. So it was a crazy couple of days. Man, everybody's really emotional. I think it was really sentimental for a lot of people. I'd heard that sentiment expressed throughout my team, from the label on out and my management on out, and because people, if you know my story, if you know me, you know my story, you know that I come to this place very humbly. I don't come to this place as a person who had an outlet or had anybody who could help put me in those positions. I had to grind every step of the way. I wasn't as lucky as say like Wolfgang or Taylor to already have had the spotlight on me from other stuff. I had to really work hard to get here. So just to have to overcome and to get through all these obstacles like I did, it really it changed everything. I don't know, and it was really emotional for me. And it still gets a little emotional sometimes if I think about it too hard.
Yeah, and well, Child of the State, I mean, just the title of the record is you.
Yeah,
This is
yeah,
you. And
yep,
the songs on this record are your journey. I mean, they are obviously, songwriting is always autobiographical to some degree in nature,
right.
but when you listen to the songs and when you listen to the lyrics, and feel the music, you can see that they're probably more autobiographical than people might think, from Captain Treads.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, exactly.
your story is really told through the songs on this record.
Yeah, yeah, and I tried to tell stories that also I knew that other people could connect with too, because I know, I'm only human, and humans tend to go through the same stuff. It may look different for all of us, but I know that we all go through the same stuff. So when I wrote this music, I tried to make it open enough for people to interpret and apply to their own lives, just to let people know like there's somebody out there going through the same stuff, and you're gonna get through it. It's gonna be all right.
Well, we are so excited to have you on the show. When I heard that you were available and we were tossing out, names and what about Ayron Jones to open the show? I was like, yes, 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 and yes, done.
Yeah,
Just let me know when it's done. So we are so psyched to have you September 10th at the WDHA Family Reunion Show. Shinedown are like brothers we've known from, I remember my first, venture out with them was I was doing my show in 2000, maybe 2001 from a barbecue joint. And the guys were, just
yeah,
kind of coming up and they were like, oh, can we come by the barbecue joint? So everybody always remembers eating barbecue, with Shinedown playing in the background and stuff. So we've known them forever. You're a new family member, and we are just so excited to have you on the Family Reunion Show. Ticketmaster.com, by the way, for everybody, WDHAFM.com to grab your tickets. And Child of the State is, dare I say it, up to this point, it's my favorite record of the year so far.
Thank you, man. That really warms my heart. It touches me to hear that, man. I've heard that sentiment expressed a few times this year, and it just every time I hear it, I just like keep it together.
I'm obsessed. If you look even at my social media pages, like I'm Ayron obsessed. Like I'm
Thank
obsessed
you.
with the
That is so
record.
cool.
I will stop people in the street and be like, what are you listening to? No, 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 no. Let me turn you on to this guy, Ayron Jones. Like he's so,
Yeah,
like everybody in my neighborhood, just because I like go running, and I put a little supercharged on and I'm doing the hill and everything. And I'm like, what are you listening to? No, 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 no. You got to.
yeah.
So I love you. I'm a huge fan, and I can't wait to see that three-piece, man. Oh, live at
Yeah,
Prudential Center.
I
It's going to
can't
be
I can't
beautiful.
wait for Cass to see that. I mean, honestly, like that has been this whole pandemic. That's what we've been waiting for. We were supposed to drop a single and hit the road right away. And so throughout this whole pandemic, man, it's been the waiting game. We've been had to put ourselves in a meditative state, focus on the record, and then and hope things open up in time enough to get out there. And now the moment's finally arrived to get out there. And so we really can't wait. And my band's really excited. We're all really excited to get out in front of people.
I'm going to give you a big hug. Big hug, baby. Big hug. Aaron, I love you, and I'm so
Yeah.
happy for you. Thank you so much for
Way
joining me.
back, Terry. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's good to be here.
DHA's Reconnect with Rockers is powered by Karis Lock Company, your full-service locksmith.